Welcome back to the workshop. In this one, we'll make a quantum leap from our first workshop. We'll be learning a melody by rote and learning 3 chords. We'll also start reading music with the notes of the treble clef. Let's start by doing a little more stretching. Remember, we had our bend back stretch with the right hand, and then bend it back the other way. Then with the left hand, and then down and back. And then our steeple stretch. Index finger going to either side. Then the middle finger. And then finally the pinky finger. Now let's try that 5-finger exercise we learned last time. And this time, instead of going up and then down with the right hand, we'll go down then up, starting with the pinky finger and going down and then up. Lifting the finger on each note. So let's try that together. I'll count us in and we'll play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's try that with the left hand, and this time instead of going down and then up, like we did last time with the left hand, we're going to go up and down. And we're on this position, and we start with the pinky finger on F. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we got our fingers warmed up a little bit. Let's work on When the Saints Go Marching In. We're going to practice this 2 ways. We're going to start by practicing the individual phrases, and then we're going to put the phrases together to make up the whole melody of the tune. So let's start with the first phrase, which has us back in our 5-finger position with the bottom finger on middle C. And remember, that phrase went like this. 1, 2, 3. So let's play that together. 1, 2, 3. And remember, we're using fingers 1, 3, 4, and 5. One more time on that first phrase. 1, 2, 3. The second phrase is the same as the first phrase, so let's play that phrase again. 1, 2, 3. Now we'll play the third phrase, which starts like the first 2 and then goes somewhere else. So let's try that third phrase together. 1, 2, 3. Now the fourth phrase, which goes like this. 1, 2, 3. So let's play that fourth phrase together. 1, 2, 3. And then the last phrase, which goes like this. Let's play that last phrase together. 1, 2, 3. So remember our nugget about learning melodies. When learning a melody or a piece, break it down into phrases and then put them together as slowly as you need to. Gradually work them up to the tempo you want to play them at. So for the more advanced part of practicing this melody, When the Saints Go Marching In, we're going to put these phrases together using what I call an additive practicing concept. And what we're going to do is we're going to play the first phrase, and then we'll play the first two, and then the first three, and so on. So let's start with the first phrase by itself. 1, 2, 3. Now we'll play the first two phrases, which are identical back to back. 1, 2, 3. Rest, rest. And remember, we want to feel those rests that are in between the phrases also. So now let's try playing the first three phrases. 1, 2, 3. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. 1, 2, 3. Now we'll play the first four phrases. 1, 2, 3. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. 1, 2, 3. Now we'll add the final phrase to make the whole melody all the way through. 1, 2, 3. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. This time let's play the tune, and I'll play some left-hand accompaniment at the same tempo to help move things along and give us a little rhythm to play with. 1, 2, 3. So let's try that one more time, just a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3. Be sure to play this tune with the play-along CD with a great snare drummer playing a New Orleans second line rhythm. Now let's go on to practicing our C, F, and G major triads. First, let's find each chord, starting with C with its bottom note on middle C. So we have a C major triad. And let's take that all the way up the piano and then back down. Now let's play an F triad just above the C triad we started on. And remember, we're fingering these major triads 1, 3, and 5. So there's our F triad. Let's take that all the way up and down the piano. And then we have a G major triad just above the F, one step above it. Now let's take that up and down the piano. So now we're going to try a progression using C, F, and G. And the chord chart looks like this. We're going to play one chord per bar, and we're going to play in the right hand only. I'll count us in, and it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. And then that progression again. F, 2, G, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, and then we resolve back to C. So let's play that together. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, and then we resolve back to C. Now let's try a two-bar progression using C, F, and G. This one's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, F, G, 2, 3, 4. C, F, G, 2, 3, 4. And then back to C. So let's try that C, F, G triad progression in its two-bar version. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, F, G, 2, 3, 4. C, F, G, 2, 3, 4. And then back to C. And remember, we're playing these triads with fingers 1, 3, and 5. And when we move to the new chord position, our forearm moves our entire hand into the new position. So now for the more advanced part of practicing these progressions, let's add the left hand in there. So with our C chord, we're going to add a C bass note, an octave below middle C, which we're going to play with the fifth finger. On the F chord, we're going to play an F bass note with the fourth finger, and then we move it all up one step with the chord to a G bass note with the first finger. So it's C, F, and G. Let's try that on our 4-bar progression to start with. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3. Then we play that progression again. 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. And C. Now let's try our 2-bar C, F, and G progression, this time adding the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, F, G, 2, 3, 4. C, F, G, 2, 3, 4. And then we're back to C. Let's try that one more time, just a hair faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, F, G, 2, 3, 4. C, F, G, 2, 3, 4. And then we're back to C. Now let's work on reading the treble clef. Remember, the lines of the treble clef were E, G, B, D, and F, which you can remember through using the phrase, "every good boy does fine." Now let's practice naming these pitches after they come up on the screen. Here's the first pitch. You were right if you said that's a B, and it's found here on the piano. Here's the next pitch, which is an F. Now try to name this one, which is an E. And next we have this one. Try naming it. That's a D. And then finally we have this pitch. You were right if you said that's a G. Now let's review the treble clef spaces. The spaces are F, A, C, and E, which you can remember easily because they spell the word face. Now let's try naming them after they come up on the screen. Here's the first one, which is a C. Next we have the note on this space, which is an F. Then we have this note, which is an E. And then finally this note, which is an A. Now let's review our ledger lines and ledger spaces, starting with the ledger spaces. Try to name this space just below the staff. That's a D, played here on the piano. Now try to name this space just above the staff. And that's a G. Now let's check out the ledger lines. First with this line just below the staff, try to name it. And that's a C, middle C. And then this line just above the staff. You're right if you said that that was an A. So that does it for another workshop, and you're ready to move on when you can play all the phrases of When the Saints Go Marching In, individually and together with a steady pulse. When you can form C, F, and G major triads. When you can play the C, F, G triad progressions number 1 and number 2. And when you can name the lines and spaces of the treble clef staff. That's a lot to work on right off the bat, so give yourself time to master these concepts and go at your own pace. Have fun playing When the Saints with the Play Along CD, and I'll see you next time.